Bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Don't Panic, It's Organic, na nossa playlist Hanging with the Pros. E nessa semana, um cara que me fez repensar o SEO. Vou mudar para o inglês agora para fazer a introdução dele, beleza? This guy made me rethink SEO, specifically looking at Black Hat SEO. He's been doing SEO for 18 years, is a global authority in affiliate marketing, expert in website flipping, and another very good friend that the Summer Jam family, the SEMrush Summer Jam family provided to me. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Campbell with his top-notch shirt, the most advanced one. Craig, welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself to our Brazilian audience.
Hello, guys. So my name is Craig Campbell. I will try and speak slowly because the accent for you Brazilians will probably be really difficult. But I'm based in the UK, and as Felipe says, I do a lot of affiliate marketing, buying and selling digital assets and flipping them on for a profit. And the reason that I kind of do that now is I've been where most people have been as a freelancer, building up an agency, and I've amassed all of these kind of skills and expertise, and I do not longer want to work with clients. I think taking the knowledge and the expertise that I've got, investing in a very small digital asset, the same way that a guy in real estate would buy a house that's potentially got some damage to it or a crap roof or, whatever it might be, bring in his team of builders, do it all up, and then sell it on at a massive profit. That's the exact same method I do with websites. I'm looking for websites that maybe lack content, lack links, lack whatever. And there's so many opportunities out there where people just get fed up with their affiliate marketing websites. They've hit a brick wall because of lack of money or whatever it might be, or they've just fell out of love with the website. And for me to come in, scale that up, flip it on at a massive profit is pretty much all I do on a day-to-day basis now. So, and I talk about it a lot all over the world. So glad to be in front of a Brazilian audience where my hero, Ronaldinho, hails from. So a massive Brazil fan here from Scotland.
Yeah, we can see the football in the background there. So yeah, you've been giving a few shots around it. Yeah. Craig, the pleasure is all mine. We have been met and talking about SEO over the events like in many countries, but mainly I think in the Summer Jam countries, and that happened, and Brighton SEO and so on. Well, every time we met. Before we go into the affiliate marketing and website flipping, tell us about how and why you started with SEO. Where I know it's 18 years ago, but what did you come across and why did you start with that?
So I started probably just out of pure luck. So I left school. I'm 41 today, actually. So I left school probably 1997. And here in the UK, the internet had just come out in 1997. So we had the old crappy dial-up connection in the house, and everyone was like, whoa, the internet, like, what is this? So I was the same. I was like, wow, I can look at my house on Google Earth. I can talk to a girl on MSN Messenger, and stupid things like that. So I very quickly became obsessed with the internet because a young guy who grew up, I didn't have a mobile phone, I didn't have internet access. So when I was, playing with my friends, as you do when you've grown up, we had to physically tap the door. Are you coming out to play today? So the internet hit me when I left school, and I was like, I had a few jobs when I left school, different jobs, sales jobs, customer service jobs, and I wasn't really enjoying it, but I was still mind blown by the internet. And very quickly, I just started to think, how can I do things on the internet? I want to explore this opportunity even more. And I thought that I would become a web designer. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing, but I started to study HTML and doing basic websites. So after a few years in crappy jobs, I started to do a bit of web design, and I wasn't very good at it, I'll be honest. So it came to about 2002. I think I had 2 years of designing really bloody bad websites that were real shitty when I look back at them. But 2002, SEO things started to pick up. There was forums, people talking about, making money online. And that's where I started to think, I don't need to make these crappy websites, because it was real hard work for me, but I was just desperate. And I left school with no qualifications, no university stuff, no nothing. So I was desperate to cling on to something that I thoroughly enjoyed. And SEO was that thing, and I didn't know how big it would ever be. So I just making a few bucks, doing some crappy stuff and some crappy websites. And then, as the years have progressed, I've been making more and more money, and then found myself having an agency. And all of this kind of stuff was just me going along. And I think most people in the SEO industry, they start out, making it up as they go along. They show a bit of hunger for it. And before you know it, you hire a content writer, a sales guy or whatever. And before you know it, you're a bloody business owner and you've got an agency. So that kind of happened for me. I had my agency for 9 years. And I think a lot of you will be able to resonate with me, talking to clients. All of that kind of stuff was real hard work. And I had wrongly built myself into the agency. So everything came through me. I was a sales guy. I was the guy that paid all the invoices. I was under so much pressure. And I shouldn't have done that, but that's obviously a mistake. I should have been working on the business and had people in place to do all of these other things. But I didn't do that. And my agency kind of stagnated. I had the wrong people surrounding me and all of that stuff. And it became to a point where I became really, really stressed with it and really hated going to work. And at that point, that's, I had 9 years of running agencies, doing successful with clients to some degree, and decided this is not for me. I'm not here to manage people. I'm not here to manage clients. Something has to give. And that's where I found affiliate marketing. And I'd followed a guy who hundreds of you probably know, Matthew Woodward, for many years. And I was massively jealous of the lifestyle that he was leading. So he was doing like SEMrush affiliate, all of these other small tools like Aweber, all of that stuff. And he would show you, he would document what money he was making and from where it was. And I was like, this guy's traveling the world. He actually stays in Costa Rica right now. And the guy was traveling the world, living the dream. And I'm like, I want some of that. So I started to kind of copy that business model, blogging about tools, talking about tools, doing tutorials and doing all of that stuff. And I think timing wise, it fell right for me because I worked as a freelancer for 4 years or so, messing around. I probably, wasn't doing a great job. 9 years as an agency owner. So I was like, 13, 14 years into my career and, hadn't made a huge amount of money. And I'm like, yeah, where do I go now? But I felt at that point after 13 or 14 years that I had amassed a lot of skills. And that's where I started to do training and trying to follow the Matthew Woodward model of doing affiliate marketing. And that's something I've done for the last 4 or 5 years and done it to some degree of success.
It's super cool, mate, because, well, I feel your pain in the beginning there with the agency now. As you know, I've got Hedgehog. We've got offices in the UK and in Brazil, and it's super tough, I enjoy it. I love it. I love to be to what I do. But sometimes I do think about it. I think I'm going to follow Craig's path. I'm going to start putting all the effort to myself. But at this stage, I know, having the right people in the right seats, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Like nowadays we're structured. We have the accountants that take care of obviously the accounts, and I can manage strategically. We have the own page, the link building teams. So I think this is why I'm still enjoying it, and still, thanks God, we're still being successful and growing because I'm trying to build the teams around that, and use my expertise to help them progress with the work. I think that's interesting. For a minute there, I thought you were going to say Matt Diggity. That was the guy you follow, but it's another guy, another interesting fellow within that industry. And yes, with
massive successful. The reason I mentioned Matthew Woodward and not Matt Diggity now, please do, guys, if you do want to do Matt Diggity. a really good guy as well. But Matthew Woodward started in about 2008, blogging and doing this, documenting this journey. So he was probably the first one to do it properly. He was like the most famous affiliate marketing guy out there whilst I was sitting doing that agency thing. I'm just like, what the hell? But what I would say to anyone is do not be put off by agency work. If you structure it properly, potentially like you have, Felipe, where you've looked at it and said, right, I need a link building team, I need this, I need that. If you've got that structure right, you can still make a very successful career. I didn't have that structure. And, when I was running an agency, outsourcing wasn't a big thing. I had no, and also what I would highlight here is obviously we've met Felipe multiple times and we build a relationship and stuff. But when I was running my agency, I wasn't networking. I wasn't going to events. I was too busy running my agency. So I never had anyone to talk to or anyone for someone to pull me aside and say, Craig, you're doing this all wrong. The model you've got is just crap. I was just, left to feel the pain. So I think, now, going to events, networking, being able to just jump in a Zoom call with someone and say, Felipe, man, you do this, give me some advice. Like, I'm struggling here, I'm stressed out. And you probably say, Craig, you need to structure this, structure that. So I think structure and everything else really would help with scaling a business. And if I could go back, I would have done the whole agency model a hell of a lot differently. But as I say, at the end, I just got very frustrated with it. And actually, I was actually, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, I actually became ill with it, with anxiety and stuff like that and stress. So I had to get medication from the doctor because I couldn't switch off. I was at night time, 3 a.m, I'd wake up, oh, I've not invoiced that guy. Oh shit, I forgot his content. And again, probably stuff that you still do. It's not healthy. If you do that for years and years and years, everyone can say, I can't suffer from stress. That's for pussies and all that stuff. No matter what, your body can only take so much and your mental health starts to suffer. So look after yourself if you're ever in that position.
Okay, that's super, super cool advice because I've been there, I never started Hedgehog at the beginning, but I think we are privileged of being able to participate in those events, like the Summer Jam events. For me, like the past 4 years, it's been like I've learned so much and that helped me correct the route of my business so many, because talking with you, talking with Ross, talking with all the guys around there, Bastian, and collecting all those information, I was like, hang on, I could do this, I could do that. It's networking. That is like, that's gold. I would say, if I should give anyone an advice that's starting an agency, get out there. Go and connect with people. Not right now, sorry. The wrong time to do it, get out there. But, network.
Yeah, but it's massive, as you say. Like everyone at the likes of these summer jams, they've all got different levels of experience and different like weird quirks to their how they make money. And you've got these guys from all over the world. You could probably never put the 20 or 30 or whatever amount of guys go to these events all in the one room. You couldn't have handpicked it any better because you've got the likes of, Bastian Grimm or Ross or, whoever it may be. And, collectively from everyone I've ever came across that I still talk to, I've probably taken a small bit from everyone, different people. And sometimes they don't even know it. I'm just like, man, I like, they'll just have a conversation over a beer and I'm on my phone taking a note saying, right, he just mentioned this tool, go away and see what the hell that is because it sounds really cool. So yeah, it's small little things that you do just to shape and navigate your way around agency life or affiliate life is so important. And do not invest in yourself. If you're looking at it, Felipe will tell you, the cost of you, flying over to Portugal or Finland or whatever, it's cheap in terms of the information that you get. Like people say, oh, fuck, you're traveling all over and you're doing all this stuff. Guys, you don't know how much money I make off as a result of that £200 flight to Finland or whatever, you just can't get that. It's insane. So massive value, and I fully appreciate the opportunities that I've had with that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Craig, because a lot of people see me also traveling and they said, oh, you just like loaded, you're doing this. I said, no, it's investment, mate. I'm putting money out of my pocket to be at those events so I can then try to learn more. And because it's so valuable, I would make anything that I could do to, like, if they say the next event is in Australia, flying from Brazil, it's kind of like a 2-day travel and it's not cheap. I would do it. I don't care. I will go because I know how much valuable that is. And it's an investment in it. So yeah. And on those chats, Craig, you made me rethink a lot about SEO, especially Black Hat SEO. How do you see that? And do you consider yourself a Black Hat SEO? So, I mean, what is Black Hat SEO for you? And if you consider yourself one, if so, because I don't think the term fits into the bill anymore after talking with you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. A lot of people have this interpretation that, a lot of people term me a Black Hat SEO, and, for me, a Black Hat SEO is one of those dodgy guys that spam the life out of everything, Chinese backlinks and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I do. And it's not what anyone does. What I do compared to agencies, listen, we look at the likes of Ross Tavendale, for example, or you or someone else. You've got clients, you've got an image, you've got a brand. You cannot say, oh, I'm doing some shady link building or whatever. You've got a brand. So a lot of people hide behind this white hat search, thing, try to keep customers happy. And listen, I 100% respect that. I get it. You cannot scare the client by saying you're doing this or buying links or whatever. But in between times, I do affiliate marketing. Now, my revenue is dictated by what I do and what I, implement the strategies. Do I care what anyone thinks? Absolutely not. Will I cut a corner if I can? Yes. Do I do things that work well for Google? Yes. And that is what I would determine Black Hat SEO, doing what works, stuff that you wouldn't necessarily tell a client that you do, but you do it anyway. And I think that's where it becomes a very grey area, because guys that I know that run agencies and some of the bigger so-called white hat guys are buying links. The people don't realize I've got link services out there, and I see who orders, and even the squeakiest clean of guys are buying links. So there's a lot of BS that goes around in the industry and all that kind of stuff. And people are saying, oh, stay away from Craig. He's a dodgy Black Hat spammer. You'll get forum links and stuff like that. We know that's not what works. Forum links are dead. All that kind of junk's dead. Social bookmarking, all this stuff that worked back in the day is all dead. What does work is you no matter what you have to do, you need content, you need links. They're the two main things that everyone needs. Of course, technical, site speed, UX, all that's important, but we all need links. Where do you get them from? You're buying them from a guy, or a guy's got a network, a PBN. You're grabbing an expired domain and doing a 301 redirect. The people see that as Black Hat. It's just strategy. It's no different from a guy fixing a car. He's doing things and he's cutting corners and welding stuff together or whatever. You've got to do what gets you results. And obviously I don't have to answer to a client, and I don't have to then hide what I'm doing. Whereas I think a lot of SEO speakers cannot be seen to be saying certain things because their clients would get scared. And that's where, as an outsider looking in and watching all these speakers, you can get confused, because that guy said he's white hat and this guy saying he's black hat, and you're then saying who's telling the truth, who's not. There's probably something in between that is neither the truth. And that's what I would consider myself, somewhere in between. I'm not some ropey, dodgy spammer, and I'm not going to claim that content, Google is going to reward evergreen content, because you'll be waiting a long time for that to happen, because Google don't reward.
Grass takes time to grow, innit?
Unless you're David Beckham putting out a blog post or something, that will get organic links. But Joe the plumber from London ain't going to get organic links. He needs to do something that's going to get him what we need to rank. So that is pretty much how I see it. I don't really like labeling anyone anything, really. You know, we've got a job to do. We need to do what we've got to do. And as I say, I've got massive respect for guys who do use that term white hat. I know what you're doing. I know why you're doing it and all of that stuff. But yeah, a lot of people just label me, and I don't like it, as some black hat spammer, which is not the case, because my job is not to get a website penalized. You know, my income relies on it.
So you can make money out of it, right?
Yeah. So why would I do something that is dangerous? So everything is always with trying to, eliminate any risk at all. So would I consider that black? I would say it's just what everyone else is doing, really. You know, I'm not doing anything that no one else is doing. That's the thing. It's just what other people are claiming to do that's different.
Yeah, and I totally respect that. And as I said, you made me rethink the way I think. I don't even have these. I never had like white hat and black hat. I used to see black hats like, okay, the guy's kind of like testing things out, because for me, that's what SEO is all about. You know, one phrase that you told me once while we were chatting was, you said, like, what I do is I test and I push Google's algorithm to the limit. I try to see how much I can get out of it, and as fast as I can, make as much traffic, profit, whatever that I can. So for me, then after that, I said, yeah, the SEO is all about that. It's like testing. There is no right or wrong. So people said, oh, that guy's a black hat. He's going to, what are you going to get? Are you going to get nicked? Are you going to get to jail for that? No, you're not. So there's no rule about it. Google can, the rule is Google can penalize you. That's it. Then you're free to do whatever you want. I try to follow best practices. I don't label myself white hat. I do SEO. Well, I do SEO trying to follow best practice to avoid that as much as I can, because I've got my clients to save for, and also my brand, because after penalty, my reputation will be like, oh, that guy can rank website. He can rank, but he can get penalized as well. So then that my business is going down. So I need, like you need to test and push. I need to cater for the safety of my client's website. And that said, what were one of your craziest tests, and what you're working right now that you can share with us?
Well, I've tested a lot of things, like, you can go onto Google Images or someone's GMB, and I could basically add 0% image overlay over your GMB. So I can go in and put a picture of a cock over your GMB. Now, what would happen if I reported that? Now, you can't see the cock on the picture, but Google can. You know, if they look through it, they can see. Even if you hide text within an image, Google can read that stuff. Now, try that shit out, by the way. But anyway, some tests. What would happen if I put a cock on Felipe's GMB, one of his pictures in his GMB?
Doesn't sound good at all.
and reported it very quickly. Your GMB goes down, you get banned. So I could wipe you out in 2 seconds flat by doing that. So things like that I have tested. Now, I haven't done that to Felipe. I'm just using this as a hypothetical example. I have done it to a GMB. So there is outrageous amounts of tests that I've done, stupid things like that, to CTR manipulation. How far can I push it? What does Indian traffic do to my rankings if I was to send a whole bunch of Indians to my webpage? Does that make it go up in Google? Or, against getting local traffic? Or, there's so many different tests that you've got to do, and some work, some don't, some come back inconclusive, but you've got to try and do a single variable test when you do these things. So like the GMB example, how can I get your GMB banned? How can I break it? There's so many different tests that you can do. Can I steal an unverified GMB? Yes, I've got videos on my YouTube showing you how I can steal an unverified GMB, just like that, and I can put my name and phone number on it or whatever, and steal unverified GMBs to drive leads. There's so many loopholes within Google. And I'll tell you another funny one. And you will not believe this. Now, I actually had to report this to a guy. Do you know Tim Capper?
No.
No, so he works closely with Google, right? He's a local SEO guy, and I was just playing around on the GMBs, and they added this feature where you can go in and suggest an edit, and then you can go in and edit the date of that business and when it started. So basically, I was getting into people's GMBs, and I was setting the date to like the year 2023, and their GMB would just disappear straight away. So I was able to just go in and switch off everyone's GMB that was in competition to me. That's a massive flaw in Google. Now, then I released a video on it, then someone started doing it to me. And I'm like, fuck, and they're doing it to some of the websites that I own. So I basically had to go to Tim Capper. I'm like, report this to Google, man. This loophole is a pain in the ass. I don't want to wake up every day.
Is it the guy from Distilled, the little guy from Distilled, yeah?
Yeah. No, not him.
All right.
Tim Capper. Tim Capper. There's a guy, Tom Capper. It's not the same guy. Tim Capper's based in the UK, but he does stuff with Google, and he's a local guy. But, trying all of these things and finding out what you can do to steal a GMB, remove someone's GMB, or do the same to their organic search or whatever it's going to be. These are all tests that are really important, because it's like a mechanic. A mechanic knows under the hood every single little bit of a car and what works and what does what. And I think as SEOs, we should be like mechanics. We should understand what can blow up, what we can blow up, how we can manipulate everything. And that's where, I would say I'm obsessed with SEO. I'm really hungry, and I probably go into weird tests that probably don't mean shit. But that is when I'm able to then come out the other end and say, right, I can blow this guy up, I can blow that guy up, I can do this, I can do that. But it's not about blowing people up. It's about then switching that to obviously defend against people doing that to you, and also being able to implement these tactics to make money and drive traffic. And that is what I do. I don't typically go out and blow people's stuff up. When I test these things, I test them on my own properties. I don't go out and just do it to a random guy for the fun of it, because I would never like to steal off another man's table, so to speak, because we've all got families and stuff to feed. So again, when I tell these stories, people are saying, he's a dodgy motherfucker. But I'm doing it and release a lot of these things to show you how that can happen to you and how to avoid it. And again, that's where you get tarnished with that brush. But yeah, all sorts of weird tests. Things are always being probed and tested all the time. And, I think that's what keeps me on top of my game. But, you talk to other guys as well, like Gareth Hoyle and various other guys in the industry, and just some of the stuff these guys are testing or some of the loopholes these guys have got would blow your brains. Now, everyone thinks that Google's this big beast that can catch everything. It really has massive, massive loopholes that are there to be exploited, like that GMB thing, which has now been patched up. So you can try it, it won't work. But it was working. And even, all the time, every other day of the week, you're finding a loophole and you're just like, man, I'll exploit this for everything I can while it works. And and it will eventually get patched up. So don't overly rely on these quirky little things. You need to try and, work on what actually works for the longer term and future-proof your business, so to speak. Don't always test and look for things to break, because that's just not a good strategy either. So be careful.
Now, yeah, that's super valuable advice there. But you do all of that to drive traffic to your website, as you said, because you make a lot of money, or part of your strategy, business strategy or business model, if you will, it's with affiliate marketing and website flipping.
Yeah.
Can you share a bit with us how do you work with that? Are you using AdSense or just affiliate marketing like with SEMrush or other companies? And how do you get to the point to flip the website? Because there's a big community here in Brazil. It's called Afiliados Brazil. The event is not going up anymore, but I know the owners, and I think you should be speaking at the event one day, Craig. And I'm going to publicly making here an invitation in the name of those guys. I need to talk with them first, but you are one of the guys that should be there, because these guys, it's all about affiliation. It's called Afiliados Brazil. But how do you, what are you doing right at this stage, nowadays with affiliate marketing, and how do you get to the point about website flipping? Because it's not very popular in Brazil, that term as yet.
Yeah. So basically, AdSense, you can forget about AdSense. I'll be honest, forget about AdSense. It's low volume, crappy market. Now, what most people will start off with in affiliate market will be something like Amazon. And now people will complain that Amazon give you a low commission. And that's fine. Now, in fact, give me a second, Felipe. Give me 1 second, just to double check I've still got it. I can actually show you a bit of a presentation that I've got. So I've got nice graphics here. Just give me a second just to find it. Keynotes.
See if you can share the screen there.
All right. Give me 1 second. I found the slides. That's the start. So I will just see if I can share screen. Share screen. Nope. See if you just go to the little arrow above where it says share screen. And then it will say allow multiple participants to share the screen.
Hang on. Yeah.
And that should allow me. Yeah, that's me. So I am going to ignore everything you see on the screen now, and I'm just going to go to these slides. So I'll quickly.
Go on, mate. Please, that's valuable, super top notch.
So this was just talking about age domains and all that stuff. Now, this is an Amazon case study that I was talking about. Now, a lot of people think you cannot make money from Amazon. You can make money from Amazon. Now, this particular project was me showing 2020 how much an Amazon project made. That particular website made me £250,000 just through Amazon. Now, you can see there that the revenue that Amazon got from that was 4.275 million. I only got £250,000. So the commissions are obviously very, very low. However, that was an Amazon affiliate website. You can do affiliate with other stuff, such as private affiliates like Authority Hacker. I can get $990 per sale for selling their course. You've got SEMrush, who will give you 40% recurring monthly for the lifetime value of a customer. So if I sell 10 SEMrush accounts to people on the $99 package, monthly, I'm likely to make $400 ongoing forever for as long as these customers stay with SEMrush. If I sell 100, I'm going to get $4,000 a month. So it's not that hard to get 10, 15, 20, or 100. You can make residual money very, very easily. Now, also talking about affiliate stuff, I was talking about age domains in this particular project. Now, again, how can you scale up a website quickly? You'll be able to see a website here, which was an Italian website that I grabbed, and I was using an expired domain name, loaded it up with content, and was able to scale that up very, very quickly. You can see that I only started this in December, and I'm able to get that organic traffic and organic keywords up very, very quickly. Now, the way that I look at these websites is I like to buy expired domain names. And that's what I was talking about here, where you can buy them, what the benefits are. Now, I showed this case study. I got Nigel Farage's domain name a few years ago. Now, why would I buy his domain name? A lot of people are saying, why the hell would you do that, Craig? Now, if you look at the metrics, it had a decent DR score, and it also had backlinks from the likes of BBC, The Independent, and a whole bunch of links that would basically cost me about £500,000 to buy. So what can I do with an expired domain name with those type of links? I can load it up with content, and I can make money through affiliate marketing. Now, loading it up with content can obviously get you that scalability. Now, websites, if you go to a marketplace like empireflippers.com, websites sell for 40 times their monthly profit. Now, if I get a website that makes 10 grand a month, I can sell it for £400,000. And that is why I utilize expired domains, slam it full of links and full of content, and make 40 times my money. Now, basically, here's an example. I could go on there and pay £3,000 for that expired domain name. That domain name is 15 years old. It's got a DR score of 46. I could then spend $10,000 on content. So that's, say, 13 grand I've spent. I would hope if I was to do that and scale a website up like the one I did here, that I would be able to sell that website. So I've invested 13 grand and I'm able to flip it for £136,000. So that all I'm doing here is utilizing the backlink power that someone's already generated on an expired domain. I'm adding my own content and SEO strategy to it and getting that growth through Amazon. And you're able to scale that up and make a lot of money. Now, that's pretty much what that presentation was about.
Amazing.
But
mind-blowing.
You can also have a look at Amazon websites. Now, Amazon pay you at the moment 3-4% commission. Now, over and above that, what is an opportunity? Now, I could take an Amazon website that you had, Felipe. You may have scaled it up and it's earning 5 grand a month. I could take that website off of your hands and I'll buy it for, say, 40 or 50 grand or whatever deal we do a deal on. I could very quickly just switch that out from Amazon to someone who pays 10% commission, like a private affiliate, and double the revenue overnight by simply changing the monetization model. Now, if I simply change that out for a higher commission, I can then go to Empire Flippers and say, this website's now earning 10 grand a month. And I've basically doubled my money on what that website is worth by simply changing the monetization method. Now, people also say to me, Craig, where do you get your opportunities? I'm looking for guys who think they're good at affiliate marketing and they're just not. They've got websites that are loaded full of content.
The heavy lifting for you, and then you just come on, give it to daddy.
That is exactly how it works. So I'm like a vulture. I'm letting you or someone else, I'm using you as an example, do all the heavy lifting. You do, all of the content, and then you find out that you don't make a lot of money because you're really bad at SEO. I come in, I'll give you some money for your website. You then are happy. You're like, oh, I can do this. I could, make shitty websites and then, they'll earn £1,000 a month. You're doing all the heavy lifting. I come in, add my strategy to it, and then flip them on at a massive amount of profit. So essentially, I'm using other people to do the heavy lifting and cleverly coming in with a strategy and a plan and money to invest. And that's why people say to me, Craig, when you're talking about throwing 10 grand of content at a website. Not everyone's got 10 grand. Now, if you want to get the scale and the growth that I'm getting, you're going to have to invest. Nothing good comes, and it goes back to doing this stuff for clients. Clients don't get the growth that they want because they're not investing enough in their SEO or digital strategy. I could go and spend 10 grand right now on new content for my own personal blog. And I'm doing that all day, every day. I could still spend more money on it. It's all about getting the ROI and the return of your investment. And if I can turn 10 grand into 50 grand, 100 grand, 150 grand, then I'm doing my job properly. And that's why over the years, I've molded my strategy and really want to know what accelerates growth from an SEO point of view to implement that into my strategy and be able to then invest 20, 30 grand in websites all the time. And it's no different from a real estate guy who just refines his team. He gets the best painter, he gets the best guy who can do this the fastest, the most professional job. And that's what I'm doing from an SEO point of view. And then, as I say, flipping, business is business. And it might seem cruel that, I'm looking for people who are doing all the heavy lifting, but there's so many bloggers out there that think they know affiliate marketing, and they don't. They're really crap at backlinks, or the content's just non-structured. It's just really shitty. But I can work with that. I can take that and reshape it, and that's where I think there's a massive gap in the market, and a lot of people are doing this, by the way. I know it might not be a big thing in Brazil, but it's what the likes of your Matt Diggity's and stuff like that are doing. That is their business model, buying and flipping websites. Now, you mentioned them, and you're like, he's a smart guy, he's doing really good stuff. That is his business model, and it wasn't, I went to Thailand a few years ago to speak at his conference, and again, speaking to all those guys are just like, fuck, you guys are making so much money. You guys are making obscene amounts of money just doing really good, simple things and just using your brain. And over the years, as I say, taking bits from Diggity, taking bits from Woodward, and taking bits from all different guys have formed what you see today from me. So, it's a really good, profitable model.
Yeah, I love your analogy around the real estate guys. The guy that gets a house that's being built, but it's a bit old, refurbished, and sell it. It's just like, that's a perfect, for me, one of the most clear, straightforward definitions of what website flipping is. And man, your figures are amazing. It's just like, people will be mind blown when they see this interview, because that is Craig's knowledge bombs right there, guys. It's like, it's massive. It's amazing. Thanks for sharing that in this interview. It's I think it kind of like, again, another chat that opened up my mind to different things again.
I'm sorry, man. It's going to derail your whole progress. I get that all the time. I speak to guys and they're like, I hate speaking to you because you always fucking get in my head and make me think of other things. And I'm like, sorry. But I think my strategy is always the and, not or. So it's agency and now website flipping, and it's not, I'm going to switch everything and going to put all my eggs on that one. So I like to gradually build things like more businesses, structure it, make it like run on itself, then move on to the next one and next one. That's how I try to run things, So diversity is the word.
Diversity, exactly. Craig, we could talk on all day here, mate, but I know you must be busy. I'm got also more stuff to do. Unfortunately, it's only 2 p.m. here in Brazil as well. It's been a pleasure. But before you leave, what advice do you have for SEO professionals here in Brazil?
What I would just say to anyone in Brazil, and I'm only taking this from what you've said, Felipe, these things are not out there yet, are not as popular out there. There's a whole big bad world out there. Open up your mind to the world. You might be in Brazil where people maybe don't make that much money website flipping, but this game of SEO is a worldwide game. Think bigger than Brazil. Think you could go to Thailand, you can go to America, you can go to the UK, wherever you want. Think big. Do not get, any SEO guy. We've all been there. I've been in Glasgow and always thought Glasgow, if I dominate Glasgow, I'm going to be the king of the SEO world. No, I'm not. I dominated Glasgow and then I spoke to other people and you're just like, I feel like a loser. I feel like really inferior because everyone thinks big. Everyone's doing big things. So open your mind to bigger and better things. Nothing is impossible in this game. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm not particularly techie or anything like that. What I am is a hard worker and a guy that takes action. So don't listen to people like me talking. Take action and do things. It might not always work out for you, but keep trying and keep doing things. That's the one piece of advice I could give, is think big and take action. Don't be scared.
Mate, that again, super, super valuable advice there. I think that's goes bigger than just build links and do content. I think that's a business advice, and then that life advice, you know, what you do. So Craig, thank you very much once again for accepting this invitation to have a chat here on Don't Panic, It's Organic. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully pretty soon we'll be able to be traveling around the world again, meeting different countries, having our beers, having our chats, you know. So yeah, thank you very much. Any final words before we wrap up?
Just get me to Brazil, guys. I want to come.
Yeah, no, that's gonna happen. Don't worry. Bom, foi isso então, pessoal. Esse foi mais um episódio aqui no Don't Panic, It's Organic com essa fera, Craig Campbell. Até a próxima. Bye, Craig. Thank you, mate.
Cheers.